karaoke. And I've got some karaoke songs ready to go. So welcome everybody to here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Lena, for having this on. This is amazing networking and amazing connections that we can make to move forward in our businesses, move forward, in a personal kind of way. But tonight I want to speak about, those mental barriers, and I want to give you a little bit of a background of what I do, where I come from, and why I think that moving through and past and beyond those mental barriers will be probably the key to how you want to move in life, in business, and in your personal, journey, really. I'm going to give you a five minute little thing, but I was a normal person out there in the world, doing my normal things, and I was not a psychic. I was not a medium. I didn't know about energy. I didn't know about anything. I was basically just like a normal kind of person with all of my limiting beliefs, with all of my problems, with all of my issues, and I was self-medicating. So I was drinking, smoking. It was great life, amazing. Lots of fun back in the day. And what happened was that at some point I found myself thinking over and over again about these limiting beliefs. For me personally, it was like, I don't have enough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough to pay my rent. I don't have enough to buy my alcohol. I just don't have, and it was like this constant, I don't have enough in my mind. Luckily for me, I was aware enough to be able to understand that this was my most predominant thought that I had in my mind. And what I did back in those days with no tools whatsoever was like, I don't want to have this thought anymore in my mind. So I'm going to change it. So what I did was I would listen to a really horrible song in the morning, something that was like just the worst song ever, but put it in my mind like what do they call it? They call it like an earworm. Yeah? So you get it, right? So this earworm, playing over and over in your head. And so what would happen is that every time that I don't have enough thought would come into my mind, I would then play this horrible song. And this actually helped me move through that specific barrier, which was the I don't have enough mindset. It took maybe a couple of years. I had no tools. I was drinking, I was smoking. I was just like, I just don't want to have this in my mind. But fast forward to a few years later when I had this amazing experience of coming out of my body and doing some crazy things where I found myself with all of these gifts that I had, which I had no idea I had. And I had to navigate how to actually understand what was happening in my mind, because I felt like my mind was breaking down. It felt like I was going crazy, and I was very, very close to putting myself in the mental hospital. I didn't because I had really good friends that helped me navigate that time. But what happened was that I was able then to understand that the mind can do amazing things. We have this amazing mind, these amazing ways and gifts that we have naturally, innately within us that can help us move forward, in our lives. My life changed totally, completely, totally and completely. And I went exploring. I went into the psychic realms, I went into the mediumship realms. I was able to understand that actually everything is energy. I can read it. It's really easy for me. It comes naturally to me, And when I started working in that area, actually I noticed that what I was doing, which was, like a normal psychic reading or energy reading or whatever you want to call it, wasn't making any change for the people that I was reading for. And this is exactly what I wanted, because we can all change. I am the evidence that we can all change, So then I went into the Mind Academy, and I studied hypnotherapy, I studied NLP, I studied life coaching. And I was able to gain tools to be able to use with my clients so they can create change, And this is what I do. I create change. And I don't create change for you. I hold a space so that you can create change for yourself, because this is exactly what we can all do, yeah? But breaking through mental barriers is probably one of the most difficult things that we may need to do in our life, mainly because we need to understand that everything that we want to accomplish is in here. It's not outside of us, it's in here. And everything that we experience outside of us, it's represented inside of our minds, yeah? And we're going to do a few processes so that I can show you exactly what I mean, yeah? Exactly what I mean. So this is what I'm here today to do. I want to actually show you how easy it is to change, yeah? Because change really can happen quite easily. Energy moves very quickly. You can shift yourself and your mindset very quickly, but we need to know how to do it, and we need those tools, and we need those understandings of how the mind works, yeah? Now, I'm just going to grab my little notes here, because I've got some notes there. So, when it comes to beliefs about ourselves and the world, it's really interesting because beliefs are self-fulfilling, yeah? When you believe something, it will become totally true for you, yeah? If you believe that the world is really scary and lots of stuff happens, then that's exactly what you're going to experience. If you believe that the world is amazingly open, full of opportunities, that's exactly what you're going to experience. And that is because of the way that we think about it. It's the way that we represent it inside of our minds, yeah? And when it comes to beliefs about ourselves, it is about who we believe we are. It's like our self-concept. It's the way that we view ourselves. What do we think about us, yeah? And the self-concept is like really interesting because it gets like intertwined with self-identity and it's another term that I can't think of it right now. But it's the language of I am, yeah? So if you, let's say you're saying to yourself, for me, for example, I am an alcoholic, then that's my identity, yeah? If I say to myself, well, I drink sometimes, well, that's something that I do, yeah? But if I'm walking around going, I am an alcoholic, that's part of my identity. That's the way that I'm viewing myself inside of my mind. That's the way that I represent myself inside of my mind. So we need to really understand what self-concept is the way that we actually view ourselves, yeah? And when it comes to understanding your own personal experience and really becoming self-aware, that's going to be your key. Exactly what's happening in here. It's not out there, it's in here. Yeah, so that's probably one of the main things that we need to really, really understand. Self-concept is based on our experiences, yeah? Our self-concept is based on all of the experiences that we've had in our lifetime, yeah? So let's say I think of myself as not good at doing computer work, which is totally true. Back in the day, that's something that I used to do. Old beliefs, yeah, old beliefs. That's because when I think about that, all of the experiences that I've had in front of a computer have probably not been the best experiences, yeah? So that's how then I start to believe that I'm not good at sitting in front of a computer. That's because my experiences are telling me this particular thing. But our experiences are vast. I'm 48, yeah? I've lived a long time and I've sat in front of a computer for very, very long times, yeah? But when we think about these things, what we actually do is we grab it and we generalize it. Yeah, we generalize the experience of sitting in front of our computer. I'm only going to grab a couple of the experiences of myself sitting in front of a computer. I'm not going to grab all of it because it's too much. It's too many experiences. Yeah. So when it comes to your self-concept, you're going to generalize it You're going to grab just a few thoughts. You're going to grab a few memories, yeah? And you're going to put them somewhere that make you think exactly of the thing that you believe about yourself, yeah? So we need to be really, really aware. And it's always, always, always with the self-concept is more about what we think about ourselves and how we think about it, yeah? That's like really important for us to really understand. And if you think of yourself as intelligent, for example, you're going to grab all of the memories that you have of you being intelligent, yeah? All of the examples. You're not going to be thinking about the times that you weren't intelligent. You're not going to be thinking about the times that you were acting a little bit stupid, yeah? You're going to put them to the side. You're not even going to look at that. You're going to go, well, I'm intelligent over here, yeah? The same thing happens when you think of yourself as stupid. You're only going to grab those memories that reminds you that you are stupid. You're not going to grab the times when you showed intelligence. You're going to put them to the side, yeah? So we need to understand that we generalize our self-concept because we've got too much memory, we've got too much experience, there's too many of them. So that's a really big self-awareness to have, first of all, when it comes to breaking through your limiting beliefs. If you have a limiting belief, it's because of the way that you're looking at it. You're not looking at all of your experience behind it, yeah? So that's really, really important to understand. And the other thing that I want to talk, before we go into these processes that I want to do with you, if you guys are open to it, yeah, I want to talk about 3 things that come up when it comes to self-concept or how we view ourselves. First thing is self-worth, yeah? Because we talk about it. Sometimes there are areas in our life where we feel like we're not worthy. We feel like, you know, we're not good enough. When it comes to self-worth, you need to understand that every single human being, yeah, has intrinsic worth. We are all worthy. As a human being, we are all worthy. When it comes to comparative worth, totally different. If I'm going to compare myself to Lena in the computer area, yeah, my worth sucks, yeah, yeah. Her worth is very, very high, yeah. So we need to really understand that if you want to have worth in a specific area of your life and you don't have the skills, go and get the skills. And then you're going to have really amazing worth in that particular area, yeah? But don't be comparing yourself to someone who can do that particular thing really amazingly and you can't. You just don't have the skills. But remember that as a human, you have worth. That can't go up or down. That stays still, yeah? That's a one line, you know, worth. Unless you live in a country where, you know, maybe some governments might think that, you know, your life is not worth it because you've done something horrible out there, yeah? But we don't live in a country like that, we live here. So we need to really understand what self-worth is. We have worth, but maybe our skills might suck in some areas, and when you're comparing yourself to someone else, yeah, don't compare. Yeah, if you want to go out there and do something amazing, but you only have 1 year's worth of experience and the person that you're looking up has 20 years worth of experience, don't go around comparing yourself to that. It's just not going to work, yeah? Get yourself the skills and then you're going to feel amazing. The other thing that I want to talk about here is self-esteem. Self-esteem. Which is another thing that happens when you're talking about self-concept or self-belief, yeah? Self-esteem comes up a lot. Now, if you think about the word esteem, it's when you hold someone in high regard, in esteem, yeah? maybe, you know, an old teacher back in the day that you hold in esteem, and that's because they did some amazing things, and they maybe are showing some amazing things that you value, yeah? So when it comes to the value of the things that you hold dear, then you might hold someone in esteem. When it comes to our own self-esteem, you need to understand that if you're not doing the things that you have set yourself to do, then your self-esteem is going to go down. If I decide that I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week for an hour a day, yeah, and I don't do that, my self-esteem is going to, woo, yeah. But if I end up doing those things, I don't feel like $1 million. I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally rocking it. Look at me. My self-esteem is going to go all the way up, yeah? So you really need to understand that the reason why our self-esteem might go down is because we're not really doing the things that we hold in high value, yeah? And the other thing that I want to speak about is confidence, self-confidence, yeah. I have a phenomenal teacher from the Mind Academy. His name is Alistair Horscroft, and he always talks about the concept of being confident and competent, yeah. If you are competent in something, then you're going to have confidence in that, and that will move you into congruence, which is what most people want. They don't really want confidence, they want congruence. They want to know that they are competent at whatever it is that they want to do so that their confidence can go up, yeah? So we need to really have an understanding of the difference of those things. And the fact is that we're humans, yeah? Sometimes we suck at holding the things that we say to ourselves. Sometimes I'm not going to go to the gym 5 times a week, an hour a day. I'm not going to do that. Why would I even set myself up for failure like that? Yeah. I'm going to go to the gym twice a week for 15 minutes a day. Yeah, that's me. Set up myself for success. And then when I go to the gym twice a week for half an hour each time, I'm rocking it. Yeah. Woohoo! Confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. Amazing. Yeah. So I want you to really understand the scope, the understanding of how we do these things within ourselves that make barriers, that make limiting beliefs, yeah? We set ourselves stuff in this way, but if we really understand it, then we can move past it and beyond it. So if you're into it, if you want to, we're going to do a couple of different processes that might make you move past and beyond these things, yeah? Yeah, yeah. So, when it comes to self-concept, you need to really understand it. If I talk about myself and I say, I am a blonde, and I'm a Gold Coaster, and I am a secretary, that's part of my identity. But if I say, I have blonde hair, I live on the Gold Coast, and I work as a secretary, then that's those things that I have or I do, yeah? So the I am is really part of your identity. This is when you start to see yourself as part of that. So you need to be really, really aware of your language. Yeah, really, really aware of your language. When it comes to limiting beliefs, yeah, I hear a lot of my clients say these kinds of things. And the other language pattern that really is not the best to use is, I've always done that. I've always been like that. It's always been the way. Yeah, you are already limiting yourself from moving beyond that because you've always done that. Yeah. So let's move away from those language patterns, but let's become aware that we have within ourselves language patterns that stop us from moving past and beyond our limiting beliefs. It's as simple as that, believe it or not. Like, seriously. aware, aware, become aware, self-awareness, 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 all over the place, self-awareness, yeah? It's really, really important. And the other thing that I want to talk to you about very quickly before we go into this process is the fact that we as humans have many parts, many parts. There's the part of us that goes to the gym, gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, champion. There's the other part that sleeps in, gets up at 7, wakes up like this, yeah. There's the part of us that, you know, really wants to eat really, really healthy, and the other part that just wants to eat cake. That's me, yeah. So we have all different parts that are working for us. They're not working against us. Even that behavior that you might have, that you think is like the worst behavior ever, and you're calling it self-sabotage. I don't believe in self-sabotage. All of the parts of you are working specifically to meet a need, yeah? Every single one. For example, if you're a smoker, yeah, and you think that this is like the worst behavior ever, yeah, and you really desperately want to stop smoking, but you get home at nighttime and the kids are going crazy and the dogs have the zoomies and your wife is cooking dinner over there and that cigarette takes you out of the house for 5 minutes for a break, guess what? That behavior is meeting a need, which you desperately want, yeah? So even though the smoking behavior might be looking bad, it's really not. It's really just meeting a need. So when you start thinking about and start to love all of the parts of yourself, even those parts that are doing that specific thing, yeah, that specific behavior, it's working for you. You just have to have a little chat to that part of you. Yeah, because maybe that part of you that's doing the smoking and the part of you that doesn't want to smoke, maybe they're not talking. Maybe they're not having a chat. Yeah? That one's over there, that one's over there, you know, we're all meeting the needs and we haven't even met. Yeah? So we really need to understand that all of the parts of us work for us, and sometimes maybe we need to just call a meeting. Yeah? And just have a good chat. Right, so because we understand ourselves and we know how we are, for this first exercise that I want you to do, because we're going to create a little bit of change today, yeah? And I want to give you this tool so that you can go home and play with it, yeah? So for this first exercise that we're going to do, if everybody wants to play, I want you to think of a quality that you have. But I want you to think of a quality that you like about yourself. And a quality that is solid. Yeah? Like a super solid quality that you really like about yourself. Yeah? Remembering that everything that we represent inside of our minds, yeah, happens outside. Yeah? Everything that happens outside is inside. Yeah? But we represent ourselves in this particular way inside of our minds. So let's say that you have your quality, yeah, that you represent about yourself, solid quality that you like. Let's start with something that you like first, yeah? So I want you to close your eyes just for a minute. And just think about this quality that you have, that you like about yourself. And if you're having trouble, you can just close your eyes, think to yourself, I am, and notice what comes in your mind. And now start to think about it. And I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. How do you know that you are that? So I'm going to go over here just for a minute. Lena, can I just ask you, what's your quality?
Digital, working with digital. I'm great with digital.
How do you know that you're good at digital?
I can work things out quickly.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Because I do it all the time.
Close your eyes. What do you see when you're doing that? What do you notice that happens in your mind?
Look quite happy.
You look quite happy. So I want you to notice, if you close your eyes, that when you're thinking about that quality that you have, that you may be seeing a picture, or you may be hearing a voice in there that's saying something about that quality. Or you may be having a feeling somewhere in your body. And what I want you to do now is I want you to bring a picture into your mind of that quality that you have. And just notice what you notice about this picture. Notice if it's in black and white or in color. Notice if it's a movie or if it's a still picture. Notice if there's sound or no sound. Notice if there's more pictures. You might have 5 pictures there. You might have 10 pictures. You might have 30 pictures, I don't know. And notice how these pictures are represented. It might be in a collage, and you might see them all in front of you. They might be in a file, where every time you touch one, one pops up. They might be like in a movie, where they just slide one after the other. Just really notice how you represent that quality in your mind. And notice how many pictures you have of that quality. Great. And now I want you to look around inside of your mind and look for counter examples. Examples where you haven't been doing that quality. You've done the opposite. Yeah? And notice where those counter examples are compared to your actual examples. They might be somewhere else. They might be represented in a different way. It might be black and white or in color. Notice the difference. Awesome. And I want you to put those counter examples that you have together. Put them all together. So you've got your examples and your counter examples. Make sure that your counter examples have something different about them. They might have a light, or they might be in black and white, or they might be little, or they might be bigger. But put them all together so that your quality is realistic. And now that you have your counter examples and your examples all together, I want you to notice what happens in your body when you're looking at this quality in this particular way. And just so you understand how this works, I want you to add more examples. So if you had 5, put 10. If you had 30, put 50. If you had 50, put 100. And you just get a sense of it. Just get a sense. It's amazing how quickly your unconscious mind does this work without you having to really, really understand what's really going on. Just get a sense that you're adding more and more examples to this quality. And notice what happens in your body when you do that. Amazing. That's it. Well done. You can open up your eyes. Awesome. Does anybody want to share what happened? Yeah? What, yeah?
So I'm very efficient. I get things done, and I'm fast at it. It's always made my job more easy to handle in a busy kitchen. If I'm efficient, yeah, things get done. I can finish early, yeah, those sort of things.
Great.
Yes. The thing where I'm not efficient, I was okay with that because I'm very efficient the other time. But when it came together, I felt very calm and yes, and okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Amazing. And let me tell you why that happens. Is because we don't want to have an example of a quality that we have, yeah, and make it imperfect or perfect, yeah. No one's perfect. If you're efficient, you're not going to be efficient 100% of the time, yeah. So we're going to add those counter examples in there so that we give ourselves permission to be normal, to be imperfect, because we're not perfect. That's why you felt calmer.
Yeah.
Because it's like telling your body and telling your mind, well, of course I can be inefficient sometimes, but most of the times I'm totally efficient. Yeah, it's okay. Anybody else wants to share? Yeah? Okay.
I looked amazing when I was awesome. And the room was really bright and everything was like glistening and smiling and laughing. And then I was in a bathrobe in the other one, not looking great. I actually really struggled to pull them together because I don't want that. I don't want the imperfection. And it's funny because Casey was going down to the side with your counter, and I was like down to the side with my counter as well, like it was off down to the side, and I just did not want to pull it back. So I actually kind of struggled with that one.
Yeah. And that's okay, but isn't that amazing that you don't want the imperfection?
No.
Yeah. So that's not giving yourself room for wiggle.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you go home tonight, you might just have a look. Like, we can move everything back to how it was, yeah? We can move everything back to how it was, yeah? I'm just giving you a test run of how the representation inside our minds affects us, yeah? So you could just play with that when you go home. You know, they might not want to be pulled together, but they might want to be maybe close together, touching. Yeah? That you might want to have one counter example rather than, you know, you might just tiny, and you might want to shrink it, shove it in there. I don't know. Play with it, yeah? Play with it.
I think it's that whole thing of realising that as well, like for one to, which is what you say all the time, right? To one to exist, the opposite has to exist.
It has, absolutely.
So it's like, well, if I want to be amazing here, then I've got to be okay with not being amazing.
Absolutely. We are not perfect beings. We are imperfect beings. And we need to make sure that we give ourselves permission to do that. Yeah, this is why it's so important when we have an example of a quality that we love about ourselves to have a counter example in there. Yeah, because we're not perfect. So let's do one where we have an unwanted quality. So this is the way that we're going to shift. Yeah, this is the way that we're going to move. This is the way that we're going to really understand how we represent something. Because let me tell you something. When we have an unwanted quality, yeah, we represent it inside of our minds. As we spoke before, all of the parts of ourselves are meeting a need. Every single part, including the part that's doing the unwanted quality, is meeting a need. Yeah? And it's just the way that we represent that unwanted quality that might be causing the problem. Yeah? So, I want you to think, don't go about thinking the big thing. Maybe something small, like a small unwanted quality, yeah, that you may want to shift or change. For example, an unwanted quality within myself is I want to stop playing with my hair so much because it just takes over the whole thing. It's too much hair. Small, yeah. Or I want to stop eating cake. This is all I think about these days. I just want to eat cake, yeah. That's just me. Just want to eat cake. So let's think of an unwanted quality that we have, yeah? And we're going to do it exactly the same way that we did it with the quality that we love about ourselves, yeah? So think about an unwanted quality that you have. Close your eyes. And I want you to pay attention to how you represent that unwanted quality. And start with one example first of that unwanted quality. And again, you might see a picture, you might hear a voice, or you may get a feeling. And as this unwanted quality starts to form in your mind, just notice the color. Is it black and white? Is it color? Is it a still picture? Is it moving? Is there sound? Is it panoramic? And notice, is there one example? Is there more examples there? Have a look. Again, there might be a collage or slides or a file. Yeah? I want you to pick one example. Notice what you are doing in that example of your unwanted quality. And I want you to be really honest with yourself and see if it really is an unwanted quality, or if it's a part of you meeting a need. Or it might be part of another quality that you might have. You might just be looking at it in the wrong way. That's it. And now I want you to put a few more examples up there. And notice all of those examples that are coming up, and notice if they are really truly of that unwanted quality, or if they are also meeting a need. And as you start noticing these examples of this unwanted quality and realizing that maybe, just maybe, some of these examples don't belong there. They might belong with another quality, they might belong in another area. You might start to notice that you don't have many left. Or you may have many left. But as you start to really become aware of how you represent those unwanted qualities, you start to really understand that they might be there for a reason. It's just the way that we are looking at them. So what I want you to do now You've got a few unwanted examples there up there. I want you to change the color, file them up in a way that works for you, that's really amazing for you. And I want you to put them in a place where you can go back and see them with different eyes. And don't worry how this is done. Your unconscious mind will do this very easily. But once you've done that, notice what happens in your body. Notice what happens in your mind. Awesome. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. That would have been a little bit harder to do. Yeah? Yeah. Did anybody notice that some of those examples didn't belong there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the way that we represent. It's the way that we represent, huh? Isn't that amazing? We represent it in this sometimes horrible way, where really that's not the case. It's not the reality.
I found that one easier.
Right.
It's easier to make the bad stuff into good stuff
Yeah.
than good stuff into bad stuff.
Cool. So the last thing I want you to do, and we're going to do this very quickly because I know I've taken up lots of time. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to make up an image of yourself, of the optimal you. And I don't want you to be doing anything in particular in this image. I want you to just be standing, doing nothing in particular at all in this image. But just make an image of you as the optimal you. Notice how you stand. Notice how you're breathing. Notice what happens in your mind. Notice how you feel as the optimal you. Notice how you're dressing. Notice how you're breathing as the optimal you. Now I want you to step into that image as the optimal you. Like you're putting on a wetsuit. And just really notice what happens in your body, in your thinking, what happens with your breathing, and how it makes you feel. And now you can take that optimal you with you everywhere you go, knowing that you can make it even better each and every time that you go back to that image. Better and better and better and better. Awesome. Great. Thank you for playing with me tonight. I want you to take away the understanding that at any moment when you close your eyes, you go inside. Such a revolutionary act to close your eyes and go in here. No one else lives in here. No one else. Nobody could possibly know what goes on in here. You're the only one, that knows what's going on in there. And you can make this, which I call your home, you can make your home whatever you want. Like you can make it really awesome, really amazing, really peaceful, really, calm. Or you can make it totally crazy. Yeah? Whatever works for you. But understand that every single time that you go inside and you represent something, represent it awesome. Yeah? You can change the color, you can change the size, you can change it to a moving picture, you can change it to whatever it is that you want. Remember that your energetic body, your mind body, they don't know that it's not happening. They think it's happening right now. So play with that. Play. Take 2 minutes of your time a day to play. Just have a little play. Yeah? Excellent. Well, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on and on. I could talk forever. Thank you.
That's amazing.